But first we welcome those who've joined us and those who will watch this live recording. And we thank you for giving up your time to join us during this 30-minute spiritual soiree where we come into the presence of the cosmic Christ. And now let us just be still and come into our hearts and listen to the voice of the Beloved. We light this light in the name of our beloved Father, Mother, God Supreme, who creates life, in the name of the risen cosmic Christ, who loves life, in the name of the Spirit, who is the fire of life, in the name of Gaia, our beloved Earth Mother, who nurtures the divine in all life, and in the name of all faith traditions and none, they too are the children of God, our brothers and our sisters, for we share the one true God, albeit known by a different name. And in the name of spiritual diversity, on behalf of all my brothers and sisters of the Teo community of Interfaith Franciscans, I welcome you to this gathering of love. Let us just relax for a moment. Let us come back to our heart. And you've heard me say it many, many, many times. Your heart is your teacher. Your heart is the gateway to your soul. And your soul is the gateway to your God. So let us use the gift of free will by calling on the Father, Mother, God, by calling on your spiritual teacher, by calling on the angels and archangels of God, for they are messengers, and they do not represent religion, for they are beings of pure love. Let us invite them to come and join us now. Higher Self, lead us to the vibration level and the light level of the angelic kingdom. Be still. Be still in the presence of love. And if you are feeling anxious or fearful, worried, upset, saddened, troubled, name those issues, name them, because they're yours. Now bless them. And when you're ready, let us release them to our God. Step back and let us say, thank you, God, for taking these burdens, these worries, these issues from my life, so that I can be free to embrace Thee. And keep on thanking and praising God, because that shows that you trust, that at the right time, your problems, issues will be resolved. But that takes trust. So let us just relax now. And as we take a nice, deep, non-labored in-breath, let us hold it. And now let us release any tension or fear to Mother Earth. And relax. And when you're ready again, let us breathe in and hold it, and now breathe out a blessing on each other. and relax. And in our final in-breaths, let us breathe in, hold it, and now let us breathe out a blessing to the world, especially to the Syrian children who are refugees in Lebanon, where the snow is thick, the climate's cold, and they have no proper clothing or shoes or heating. Let us send them love, protection from the cold, and that our Father, Mother God will hear our prayer, and that the world will come to their aid right now. Just relax and sense the peace of God all around you. A peace that transforms everything. Just come as you are. And now sit in the silence and the stillness, focusing on your lighted candle and watching the flame gently flicker. Just keep watching the candle's flame, and as it gently sways, be aware that you are surrounded by the purest beings of love, and they've come to empower you. Self-heal, relax, be still, and know you are loved. I would like to read, if I may, from the Entering the Castle, An Inner Path to God in Your Soul by the great Teresa of Avila. And we're going to look at part of the fifth room of the castle, your soul. And Teresa says, who is a gift in my life? Do you consider just the people you love to be gifts? Everyone in your life, everyone is in your life for a purpose. Appreciating the people who appreciate you is effortless. You have to learn to appreciate the reptiles in your soul as well. It is very difficult to find a divine purpose for people in your life who have harmed you. But consider that you yourself have harmed people who are busy trying to figure out why you came into their lives. Underneath it all, there is a purpose. You can choose to be defeated by adversity or cruelty, or choose to keep going and never be cruel. These gifts, great gifts in fact, but all of the many gifts in life that bring joy and grace to your soul, among the greatest is the choice to see the people in our lives as gifts from God. That's a big one. And here Teresa of Avila asks us to do some soul work. Ask your soul to show you the essence of each person whom you keep in your life. how you think of these people, how you feel about them, and how you remember them are reflected in the health of your soul. Dialogue with your soul until you see how each person is a gift. This is an intense practice because so many relationships are contaminated with power struggles. But identifying that struggle is precisely the purpose of the work in this room. Few relationships are easy, and you can suffer immense pain when you are unable to acknowledge the good in another. It is all the more difficult to see someone else's goodness when he cannot see the goodness in you. But this work is your journey, no one else's. We go into the 6th room, and it's about expressing divine love. If you truly believe that God loves you, you act accordingly. Divine love is compassionate and accepting, silent and healing, and non-judgmental. How does divine love influence your everyday life, including your thoughts, actions, emotions, and how you treat others? How often and in what circumstances do you consciously act without love? Divine love is the most difficult love to put into practice on earth. And yet, if you believe in the power of divine love, what other choice do you really have? Anything else you do will create chaos and contaminate the rooms of your castle, which you've just begun to clean out. We are not Jesus or Buddha. We all prefer to love within our comfort zone. But that is not what is asked of those who seek to know the deeper nature of their soul. The soul is essentially a vessel of love. As a channel for love, you cannot hold expectations that you will be loved in return or appreciated for your efforts. You cannot judge yourself for not being able to act out of love. Rather, your task is just to love, again and again and again. In this room, dialogue with your soul, recording your dialogues in your journal about the challenge of divine love. Examine in each instance why a loving response was difficult, or why you may have expected gratitude from another for acting out of love and not receiving the same response. Divine love is a quality of grace to be given freely from your soul, released like a dove from a cage. Teresa brings us to the next room, the 7th room, called Surrendering to God, Finding Awe. Surrendering your all to God is the final act of trust. You surrender not your earthly belongings, but rather your trust and allegiance to your earthly senses and logical mind as your system for understanding the nature of God. Consider that in the Garden of Gethsemane, Jesus surrendered his life to God after first pleading with the divine to not have to endure the brutal suffering of a death by crucifixion. He wanted to know why he had to go through that misery, but when a logical reason was not forthcoming, he finally said, "Thy will be done. Thy will be done." He transcended the need for earthly reasons and trusted the divine, surrendering his life to a plan that he feared. Buddha, Muhammad, and other great enlightened beings all faced the same test. Surrender is the initiation into the mystical life. Surrendering of your heart is the initiation into the mystical life. In your work in this room in the first mansion, you begin your encounters with acts of personal surrender. Let us reflect now. Just let us reflect as we come to our heart, as we come into the presence of God, and in the stillness we find the peace of God. We find the love of God, and it's not a controlling love. It has no agenda. The love is freely given, and God trusts that it will be freely received. Just relax now. Relax in the presence of God. Be still. Invite, invoke, and ask the cosmic Christ to come to you now. And now we listen to the voice of the Beloved, a voice that is with us, a voice that provides for us, a voice that does not lead us astray, but keeps us grounded, protected, loved. Let us come back into the monastery garden here. Let us find a cozy place where we can just sit and be still. And we hear in the monastery house the grandfather clock pealing 12 noon. And suddenly there's a stillness. For 12 noon and 6 o'clock in the evening are two special times that are dedicated to Mother Mary, Queen of Heaven. And you will hear bells ringing, 3 3s and a 9 of bells, calling the children of God to recite the Angelus, a special prayer in honor of the Mother of God. And as you look around the garden, you find a quiet cul-de-sac where you see a beautiful statue of stone of the Mother Mary. And overhanging her are coloured ribbons, prayer requests of people who have asked her to intercede for them, to pray for them. And you go up to her statue and there's a seat under the trees. You sit there. And at first you're a little bit restless and uneasy, but the peace of the garden allows you to relax. And now you are still. And as you gaze at this beautiful image in stone, you see a face of a gentle woman. Her hands are joined in prayer. And you see her turning to you, literally turning around to you. And she's asking you, why are you here? What is your sole purpose of being here today? There is a silence. There's a silence all around you. And the mind is being quietened. And the more you breathe in, the more calm you become. The more loved you are. And Mother Mary calls you, come closer, and sense the peace of your God. She comes to you as a mother. She's aware you're struggling. She's aware that you have worries that are deep within you, maybe unresolved conflict. Maybe there's been no closure for you, and you've been left broken in pieces from a situation that may have happened recently or a long time ago. But she's looking at you and she's asking you, what is the purpose of holding on to this pain? Why can't you release it and be free like everybody else? Or is it that you're wanting to punish yourself out of guilt? Give me the stick. She insists that you give her the stick that you beat yourself up with, to punish yourself when it is the other who should be punished. And the moment she takes that stick that you've been using to beat yourself into a pulp, something's happening. You can feel the muscles in your thighs getting stronger. You can feel the muscles around your spine knitting together and supporting that column. You find hands rubbing against your spine, working on all those tight muscles. It is the monks. They've come to empower you. Take back your power. Take back your power from all those that you have wounded and those who have wounded you, and bring them to Mother Mary. Bring them to her. And suddenly you see her hands rise, and rays of light flow from the palms of her hand towards you. She's covered your aura in the most beautiful, majestic light. and healing is taking place from the outside in for a change. The light energy is now being placed over your family, and the smell of death has gone, and you're now liberated souls in service to love, in service to God. But have no fear. Have no fear. You will never be asked to do something that hasn't been done by another before. As you breathe in now, you're breathing in the power of the mantra, I am a child of God. I am loved for who I am, not for what I do. Come into the presence of God. And as you look at Mary, you know in your heart of hearts that she has suffered for you, that she has suffered on many levels for you by allowing her beloved Son be taken from her to pay the price of love. Of love. And she wants to free your mind of all the clutter and nonsense, and she now calls you to kneel before her, and she places her hands on your shoulders, around the nape of your neck, and she loves you. And that love is reclaiming you. It's empowering you to take back your power. To take back your power as a child of God, as a child of the light. And be still. And to know that you have a real spiritual mother. And all you have to do is call on her. And she will send you a legion of her angels, because she is Queen of Heaven. But the fire hasn't gone out. The fire in your soul is aching for this love of God. And Mary is speaking to you, taking away all the fear and only bringing to you that of a mother's love. And though you may not embrace interfaith, others do. Because like me, they are all children of the one true God. And no one has the right on earth to prevent them from coming into the presence of their God. So just sit now with Mother Mary and connect with her mother's love. Be still and to know that you are loved, and that God will go on loving you even if you turn your back and walk away. Even if you walk away, your Father, Mother God will keep sending you messengers who will come into your life for a purpose, and then you'll never see them again. But they bring you a simple message: come back to your heart.